Hi, I'm Stephanie Wainwright. I'm a wife, a mom, a business owner, and my life is chaotic all the time. So I created this podcast to help you find the funny, the good, while navigating through the chaos. This is Chaotic Compass Podcast. Yay! Thank you guys for coming and joining in. We are excited to be here. Well, I'm excited to be here. I can't talk for Ryan. But
I'm excited too.
Today's episode is talking about how it started. All of the its. And most of the its that we're going to talk about this evening started with alcohol.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. It was a lot of the conversations that reduced the inhibitions and it created the flow of ideas and thought processes. So, yeah, we got to give Booze some credit.
Right. It let down the guard of...
Yeah.
Came out with a screw the world. We're going to do this. So we are going to start off first thing with today we are drinking because how it started was alcohol. So today. Ooh. Okay. Big tall boy. We're going back with the Four Loko. Definitely.
Not real sure about this.
It's Loko Peach. It smells like a big old peach.
I like peach. I mean, yeah.
It doesn't smell like a real peach.
It doesn't smell much like peach, but
so we're gonna try this out first thing today.
Yeah, this was the convenience store special.
Yep.
So
give it a shout out to our convenience store around the corner. Yeah, I don't know why I keep buying these. That's just like I only got a couple of bucks and I want to get drunk real quick. It's okay. So Four Loko Peach, 12% alcohol in the big tall boy can here.
It's like if you took, like a pack of peach Kool-Aid.
Yeah, like those peach rings.
Yeah. But mix it with, vodka, of course, and
let it sit for
a whole lot of sugar.
Too long. Yeah, it's the sugar content is absurd. I don't even think it doesn't even list it on here because they're like, yeah, your diabetes doesn't want to know.
But hey, if it's your 21st birthday,
exactly,
and you've never had one of these before,
for sure, definitely check this out.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Skip over the Miller Lite. Just go for a couple of these and good night.
Miller Lite was my first drunk, to be completely honest.
Mine was
college.
Mike's Hard Lemonade. I didn't say
it
that.
It might not have been my first drunk. My first drunk might have been vodka.
Knowing you and your dad, there's no telling.
Right. We won't talk about how old I was.
Right.
But, yeah.
Yeah. So, not a big fan of the Four Loko, but we'll drink it because it's here and it's paid for. So,
right.
All right. Let's go. All right. So we're going to start into how we started. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Ryan and Stephanie started.
Yeah, Ryan and Stephanie started.
Yeah, that's...
it
we're going to give a brief synopsis because there's not enough time to go into detail about how...
Right. I mean, long story short, we worked together. And so when you work together, you spend... 40 hours a week together,
right,
for the most part.
At least.
Right, and we didn't spend that much time together because she was in one place and I was in another. But because of the two positions, we were kind of the managers and had to work together pretty closely as far as the business was concerned and how we operated it. So, we both... like to laugh and joke and talk about the world and just got to know each other a little bit and was really just, we were friends. I mean, we were just friends.
Yeah, we were really, really good friends.
For me, I was never the most popular guy in school and didn't have just a laundry list, phone list of friends. I didn't go to parties in high school
We should
very
find a
much,
high
but
school picture of each of us and put
right,
with this
yeah, it
YouTube
was,
video and just be like, bloop, bloop.
right, yeah. One day you could be cool like us. So, but no, it was interesting because of just the way we thought, the values that we had, the way we viewed the world, and in a lot of
True.
ways,
For sure.
just we had that in common, and we just
slightly
enjoyed
cynical
conversation.
but comical.
I'm very cynical in my
Well, yeah,
case,
he's
but
massively cynical, but
yeah,
we both have a cynical
I'm working
take
on
it.
that.
Yeah, he's working on it. But
Anyway,
yeah, no, we just we started kind of hanging out after work, and it's summertime, and with being able to go out on the charter boat and sunsets and
yeah, and it was we just had lunch because it was a common time
Yeah.
when we had a break, and
eating lunch.
it was either we both got to eat, and we enjoyed talking to each other, and it really didn't have anything to do with romance, or there
No.
wasn't even any interest there. It was just,
Yeah.
hey, I'd rather not sit by myself
Right.
and eat lunch. I mean, that's kind of how it started, and then it went from there as far as just opportunities. And again, it was more business oriented as far as just, hey, I've got this, and you need this, and maybe we can help each other out.
I attempted to be a mate on the Ocean Eagle, and looking back, that's quite comical.
Yeah,
that is so funny. I still can't get a fish off the line.
Now that I've gotten to know you,
like, what in the heck?
Yeah, I would have highly advised against that had I known you better. No, but I mean, I did it because I with the jobs that we had, she worked more with the people,
right?
And she
I
was
do enjoy that
really
aspect.
good with that aspect. I mean, she could talk to anybody, and
hell,
not necessarily
people in the grocery line, like
right,
the most randomest people.
And it wasn't about sales, right? She wasn't trying to sell anybody anything, because salesmen are required to talk to people. But you made that choice. You enjoyed that aspect.
Yeah.
You really liked talking to people and getting to know them and know their stories, and you could just tell, and I could tell. If not, you had me fooled. So
I attempted to work on the boat, but it gave me the opportunity to be out on the boat as the sunsets was what I love, and then it just really I was going through a really hard time at that point, and it was really nice to just be able to just not do.
Right. I mean, I think timing is everything, because as it turns out, we were both in a similar place as far as the rest of things were concerned, and it worked out, because we were friends, and actually close friends, I think, for probably 3 months, before we really It was interesting how we got started, but
it came down to, it was like, it all has a point. I promise, stick with it.
Right.
So, but it came down to, it was like I was having a really hard time, and I'm like, I'm just gonna get in the car and go. And you were like, well, why don't you just get in the car and come up and visit with my mom? And the whole time I'm like, that's weird.
Yeah.
like your mom doesn't know me, and I'm bringing my kids, and so it's like and you got your kids, and it's like a herd of kids, and that's weird. But yeah, come on up. My mom would love to have you, and and you can stay the night up here. And it's like, okay, well, I don't have to pay for a hotel for me and my kids.
Right.
And, that's kind of cool, and a getaway, because at the time I was living with my parents. And so that'd be nice to get away with the kids. And all right, so we packed it up in the car and headed up there, and kids had a blast, and
really
plenty
did.
of room to run. And and
I did have a vision. I mean, I knew that they would all have a good time, and
that was the point where it was like one of those moments where it was like, yeah, this is crazy. Don't even think about trying to get a relationship with me, because one, I've got a past, I've got baggage, but two, I have 2 kids, you have 2 kids, 4 kids. Like, that's crazy.
It,
Like,
it
don't
did
do it.
seem crazy, and that was something that we both considered, and it really came down to something that was out of our control because we really talked to each other and had that open communication at the time. It was like, if our kids hate each other,
That's a no-go.
yeah, this isn't going to work.
Yeah.
So we kind of left it up to them, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, but it was like that day, it was like they all had a
They
great
really did.
time playing with each other, and it was just like,
And I mean, honestly, it wasn't a bad call on our part as far as, reading into it or looking for what we wanted to see or anything. Because, I mean, it's been 6 years.
Yeah, almost 6 years.
6 years. And,
oh my gosh. Like, literally, by the time this airs, it'll be 6 years.
Right, yeah. And I mean, but 90% of the time, they get along great.
Yeah, that's true.
And I say 90% because there are times where we have quarrels and differences, and we have a couple of alphas, and they don't always get along. I mean, they're kids. They're still kids.
Yeah.
And I mean, hell, we don't always get along. You know what I mean? And we're adults, so.
But I mean, there was that me going up to your mom's house and getting away, and us kind of witnessing our kids really, really interacting together.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was just one of those moments of,
this could work.
Like, let's give it a try.
Yeah.
Like, what's the worst?
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of worst case scenarios of like crash and burn that fell through my head.
Right.
But
well, I mean, that was one of the things. I'm not a, what is it, Kane Brown fan.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, one of the songs that he had was "What If."
Oh yeah.
And it was kind of one of the that song was kind of cool in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
It's like, what if you take a chance and it succeeds? And I think that's kind of honestly the theme of what we're getting at here and what we're talking about. Because one of the things we wanted to talk about tonight was not only that, how we took a chance, and I think it's gone pretty good. And
we're here.
We're here, and
I haven't murdered him yet.
Right?
He's
It's
still here.
it's been 6 years together and 2 years married,
Yeah.
and we both took that chance, and
So you have the company.
right. So we had the one company, where we charter fished, and you got to kind of see my side of how things worked and what I did there. And then we went from there as far as just.
But yeah, so okay, so talking about companies.
Yeah.
But talking about how, so we now own 2 companies together. We both are in it full time working together. But as far as how those companies started, I feel is such a really crazy story as well. Like us starting is crazy, and then how our companies, like us coming into both of these companies, was very crazy. 2019 for the charter boat company was horrible, and it was like, okay, so we need to either demise it and basically destroy it, or figure out how to resuscitate it. And so it's like, okay, I'm taking it all. I'm going to go and get loans because I have better credit, and I'm going to figure out how to do that. And we both were in the thick of it and trying to figure that out, and it didn't happen.
Right.
But we still made it happen, because even with the EDA not backing us and the SBA not backing us, we still made it last year, which is so crazy. But that's how that started, and it was kind of one of those things where it's like, go, 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 go.
Right. And I mean, taking a chance and leaving it up to some other factor.
So how you got into the business, and it was just like, you and your dad, but then how I got into that business, but that's one business, but how you started your mobile marine repair service business, that was, oh my gosh. So
That took a lot of prying.
No, okay, so, but even like
on your part,
even with just the names, I think it's so funny to go back and talk about how we came up with the names.
We did.
It was literally us standing in our kitchen when we weren't even married, and we were standing in the kitchen and just in front of a dry erase board.
Yes. Yeah.
And we were just, I don't even know. It was like back and forth, and it was just how it came to fruition. It was just like, and we wrote it on the board, and it was just like, this is that name, and this is that name. And,
right, yeah,
Chaotic Compass is one of the names that came to, fruition. And he took his name and I took mine, and I didn't do anything with it. I sat with mine for a while, and his sat on the board for probably about a year.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But, I mean, how that came about was so, because, again, it was surrounded by intoxication. So the actual formalities and the thought process behind it. But it was ultimately because compasses are a big
that's what I was about
portion.
to say. I think we were talking about tattoos,
right?
As a matter of fact,
okay,
the only tattoo that I would ever consider getting, which
yes,
I haven't done, and we've talked about a bunch of different things, but I don't have any, and Stephanie doesn't have any
yet.
at all.
But I think that
but
was
it was something we were both.
Because it was coming to a birthday, and
right,
like that has been
yep.
my birthday. Like every year, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do it, and then I don't, because I chicken out, or I'm like, oh, I don't have any money, but I chicken out because I don't have any money. But whatever comes to,
I'm staying out of this. I'm
right?
not
Yeah, I know. And whatever it comes to, it doesn't happen, right?
It has not happened.
But I think that's what has started the whole conversation of, all right, so, and then we start talking about compass, and then like that's how you get on that, and then it was like, a whole life is all about chaos, and it was just like, that makes the most sense to just have like a blurred, compass on my arm of just complete chaos. And even like I had that name of the company, and I had so many visions for what that would be, right? I think we're serial entrepreneurs. I think that would be
I think I am.
I think that would be, because every time we look at something, be like, yeah, that's how I could do that better, or I could take that and spin it and do this. I think we're serial entrepreneurs at heart, but because we don't have the funds to back it, or we don't have investors to back it, we aren't. But I think when I had made that name, it was like I wanted to flip houses is what I had. And,
that was the original
chaotically, like, in theory, flipping a house upside down and, pointing it the right direction was the thought process behind that. And it became so much more, which is so crazy, because it's like it sat on the board and sat on the board, and it's like we wanted to do that, but I never had the backing to get in that direction.
Stephanie believed in me and my skill set, and I kind of see things as, well, there's so many different skill sets, and I had done a little bit of everything, but didn't have any type of formal
a niche.
Yeah, exactly.
What he was claiming as a niche, and I was like, you work on boats, and that is a niche. Right. And that's, if you think of how many people are in the world and who own boats, that is a niche. And so it took a lot of...
Yeah, I mean, long story short, she was right. We'll stay
Let's play that over and over and over again. Let's just take a moment of, can we...
She hears that a lot, by the way. Don't let her fool you. And I should hear it more, but that's my opinion. Okay, so we're gonna stick to that. But bottom line is, she was right as far as just people that own boats typically don't want to work on boats, and as a boat owner, I really don't like working on my own stuff.
Right.
So to be perfectly honest, it was a niche in a sense that there's a lot of systems on boats that aren't necessarily diesel mechanic or gas engine mechanic or electronics installer, where you actually have to have that factory certificate to know what the heck you're doing. And
you're just
that,
fixing something that nobody else knows how to. It's just fixing.
In some cases, it's being able to put yourself in a position to get to something and put it back together. And
this big.
Yeah.
And, I have photos, and we could probably get a little bloop of Ryan upside down in, the whole.
Being able to work.
My husband, or my sister quoted that my husband was installed the wrong way. It was a photo that I put, it's. But
so as it turns out, I can stand on my head for a good period of time and work
and make money
and not pass out.
But and that side of the it was all created from you have a moment where, okay, I'm out of this job that I've been in forever. The job that I've taken isn't working out. I'm trying to do this and it's not going to pan out. And I'm not too sure what I need to do. And in that time frame, 2019, it isn't like today with the labor shortage where everybody's like, come work for me.
Right.
And it's like, it wasn't like the same. And so it was like, you can do this. And I was his biggest cheerleader, his biggest advocate, I feel like, you can do this. Let's do this. How do we do this? What, okay. And let's go. You can do this. And I saw the big 10, 20-year vision. And it was like getting him to get the ball rolling was a lot. But I think with getting you started in that role, it was just like, go, and I'm pushing you. And it was very reluctant, but it was, once you kind of got that momentum, it was like, okay, all right, this is going to be okay. Like, all right. But and
momentum is huge, by the way. Yeah. It's not just like a game, ball game term, it really is a business term, in my opinion.
Well, I think with everybody that they want to see success, and when you don't see success, that's disheartening, and it takes, and that's been with us, especially this year. It's or even last year, in the past, 2 years, it's been really hard, for multiple reasons, but. Right. But with me starting this podcast in particular with this name, it's this name has been on that board for years.
Yeah, it really has.
And it's taken different fruitions, but I never have taken it to that next step until the end of 2020, where it was like, this is what I'm going to do.
Right. I want to do this.
I want to do this, and I need to do this, and I'm sick of, because I had the spirit of, I want to do this with a friend. And so, he and I talked about this. I don't know, it was before you and I.
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah. I've been talking with this friend for forever, and it was like, okay, all right, we're not doing this. Like, I want to do this. I have so many ideas. I want to relate. I want to be able to get out there and let's go. And I think that I can relate, because I feel like I can just talk to people, and I want to be out there. And it took me a while to get past there's so many other people that do it.
Right, and true. And the other aspect of it, too, I don't think you were wrong as far as approaching him and seeing envisioning a talent in that guy or that person as far as seeing what he was capable of.
Right.
I mean, because he had a very good set of people skills,
right.
To where he could talk to people and could relate to people and was humorous. I mean, it was a super cool guy. So
but
I don't think.
But
you're wrong there.
But no, I mean, but once I got finally got past, okay, this is me. this is my thing.
Yeah.
And I think that you can probably relate to that with like, you starting your own business. And I hope that I'm relating to somebody that, is thinking about doing something. As
And
far as,
I hope I encourage you in the right way, like you
yeah,
encouraged me.
yeah,
So
no, I
that's what
know.
I was
And
going
that,
for
that
too.
was, I mean, it really was, as far as, okay, all right, so
Yeah.
I need this time.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm doing this. Like, this is me. I'm, and you're like, and I gave you all the reasons why not.
Right. Yeah.
And you're like, shut up, like, stop. But it's that moment, that period of time where you have the idea, and your brain is telling you not to.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, what is that? Like, if you could take your brain and tell it to just for a while, it just, and like turn it off, and then just, well, I mean, that portion of the brain that's telling you not to, obviously, because you can't turn the whole thing off because you would go to sleep. But, as far as like, okay, I got this idea, let's go. Okay, like, what, how, like, not even like how, like, just brainstorming all the ideas of what ifs,
Right.
and then take all the what ifs and go into the house, like, don't figure out that, because the house is what got me. Like, I don't know how to, okay, I can sit in front of a microphone, but how do I get it on all of the places that people listen to podcasts? And how do I, edit it? And how do I make it pretty? And how, and that's it.
Because it's easy to come, and I think the how is another one that's really difficult to overcome in your own head, because a lot of the hurdles, a
Right.
lot of the things that are going to be very, very difficult along the way, and you don't know how
Right.
in that moment to overcome those, or to circumvent those. And
Right.
so it's really easy to talk yourself out of doing just about anything
Really is.
that's complicated or potentially career making, I mean,
For me, I Googled every single one of these steps. Is it perfect? No. And am I learning every single time I post something? Yes. But I'm taking that knowledge and I'm applying that. And that's in so many different aspects of, like, one, it's our relationship. Two, it's with our businesses. It's three, it's with this podcast. As far as, I had to Google every single thing. If you don't know something, it's on the internet. For free, most likely. Like, you don't have to pay somebody, like, to get that. It's on the internet. Somebody's been through what you've been through.
Yeah.
In some aspect.
It does require some patience to sift through some of the things that you don't find.
Right.
So some of
Or
you
when
type,
you accidentally spell it wrong.
right, you type in this one sentence, a very specific sentence, looking for a very specific answer to a very specific question, and it comes up with something crazy, and you're just like, oh, this is
right.
Screw this. I'd rather use an actual book, encyclopedia with a table of contents. But that's me. I'm old school. What do I know? This Google crap,
Gosh.
whatever.
Okay, so, he's like, I'm going to read a book, but I don't read.
I don't read very much of it.
He's like, I'm going to call somebody I know that might know the answer.
I would love to. It's not.
Which is like old school YouTube.
Well, I've always grown up. It's not
internet.
What you know, it's who you know.
Right.
And
because
you're
not
to
wrong.
Me,
it's
people
resources.
are so much of a better resource to actually have a conversation with. And for me, you can talk to somebody that knows more than you, and there's a whole lot of people that know more than I do.
Well, I mean, if you really think about it,
so it's a matter of
if you think about it, okay, all right, Jeff Bezos knows how to run a multi-billion-dollar company, but how much does he know about boats? I think all of this, really getting down to it, because it's like so many things, and I don't back this, but so many ideas have come from us drinking and sitting around and talking, but I think it comes from letting that guard down and then having a person to be able to be like, yeah, like that's and just kind of
Right.
And sometimes
because that devil's
gone,
advocate person can really help you out too.
True, but sometimes it's gone down like the worst of the, and I think it's because I have a great idea, and it's like he played devil's advocate and he didn't go with it, and like it went bad real quick. But you need to drop that guard and find the good and focus on that and the reasons why you want to do something and go with it, because I had 1,000 reasons why we as a couple shouldn't have been together. And you had 1,000 reasons why we shouldn't have started our company. And I had 1,000 reasons why I shouldn't have started this podcast. But here I am. And, that might not be amazing in the grand scheme of things. But for me, as, a person in a small little bitty town, like, I feel like, if I can reach, and that's my goal, if I can reach one person and affect them, like, not negatively, obviously, but if I can reach one person and have, a positive impact on their lives, that's it, and I think that that's what, we started as a couple. Like, we can positively impact us and we can show our kids, like, this is what a real relationship and real love and a real marriage looks like. And our companies is like, this is what we want to set policy as, and this is what we would like to impact on, and I have so many more aspirations as far as a company of, I want to bring in more, females and into a male dominated industry, and I want to impact the world as far as with homeless and orphans and like disadvantaged industry,
that covers it.
I know there's so many things that I want to impact with those companies. And then it's like this podcast, it's like, if I can impact one human being, like, it's so worth it, and I know that you guys are out there, I can't even remember the last time I looked at the numbers, but it's like, I'm impacting so many of you guys, and it's like, what? Thanks. I only have a goal of impacting one person, and I know that I'm impacting more than that, and that's so cool because you listen to it from beginning to end. I can see the stats is a little stalker style, but it's so cool. And how it all started with all of these, it's like there was so much negativity of all the reasons why not to.
Yeah.
And you have to really take that. And yes, it's like, that's anxiety. But what is your gut screaming? Because your gut is the reason why you started in that direction, right? You have to really, that's your intuition. You have to really focus on that. I really, really feel that every idea is going to be met with negativity. This is like the imposter syndrome. Let's say you feel like you weren't supposed to, or you aren't supposed to. And that's society and the negativity of all of the things trying to bring you down. Like, shut up. Like, don't listen to that. If your gut is screaming at you, I want to do this, then do it. Think of all the reasons why you want to and focus on those. Those are the good things you're supposed to focus on. And that's what I had to keep reminding him of, especially when it was, getting into business, is like, okay, like, and then when we were trying to revamp, our charter boat industry, is like, this is why, like, it's a good thing. Like, we need to focus on this and, like, let's go. And, I have to keep reminding myself a lot of those reasons because it's hard.
Yeah.
But I think we had hit on that on a episode before of, like, you, like, write down those reasons. Like, when you are like, I feel on top of the world, write down those reasons. Like, I'm gonna do this because of these reasons. And then when you start to feel like negativity attaching to you and start dragging you down, come back to that. Because that's so big. Or find a person, which is usually inadvertently one of us, find a person that's going to remind you of those things. But
right. And I think one of the things too that we did, that I did, that you did for me, was remind of what you know. Because if you know and you feel strongly that you know a lot about a certain subject, chances are there's a whole lot of people out there that don't know a lot about that subject. And that's where you can make a business out of it. That's where if you focus in on, oh, hey, I know a lot about boats, and there's a whole lot more people out there that own boats that don't actually know about boats, and yes, there is. You can help them, and you may not, as long as you're honest with people and tell them what you don't know, but at the same time let them know what you do know. There's a whole lot of room for work, for profitable work, for them to pay you for a service that you can provide, as long as you let them know up front, hey, this is what I can do, and this is what I can't do. Or you tell them, hey, look, I think I can do this, and this is how we're going to break it down. I'm going to do this, and if I get to a point where I feel like I can't do it, I'm either going to let you know, or I'm going to go off your clock, figure it out, and then come back on your clock when I know what I'm doing. And there's so many folks out there that just appreciate you not, trying to take their money.
Right.
That feel like that you're being honest with them, because
so
you
many
are.
Different levels, right?
Yeah. So
I think that touches on. Okay, so I think being able to talk with you in a personal level on, okay, I'm afraid of getting in a relationship with a person that has 2 other kids, and how that might, negatively affect my kids, of if this doesn't go well and we're focusing on our relationship and our kids are constantly arguing.
Right.
And we both agreed upon that. And that all it took was that conversation of, here's all of the things that I think that could go wrong.
Yeah.
And it's like, let's talk about it. And, okay, well, here's all the things that I think that could go right with you starting this business. And you're like, here's all the things that I think could go wrong. And then we talked about it. And it's like, okay. And it was, okay, what do I lose? What do I lose?
Yeah.
And you have to think, okay, so what's the worst that could happen? Right? And that's the constant. Okay, so you have to think of the worst, and so, okay, how do you circumvent the worst? What's the worst that can happen? Like, okay, you lose a friend. Well, if they aren't supporting you because you are starting a new business, are they really your friend? Think about that for a hot second, sis. Like, in the one bro in the back. Like...
But at the same time, listen to what they say. I mean, you don't want to just write them off.
No, I mean, take it to
heart. Because people can help you. Criticism can help you. Even negative criticism can help you.
Constructive criticism, but I think that some people really take that to, because it...
No, you just can't take it personally.
My parents both have never owned a business, and they both, when I told them that I was going to quit my job and go into working for a business, my own, they're like, that's not the best decision. This is not going to work out for you. This is probably not, working with your husband is going to be the best. And it's like, I've been working with my husband, even working another job. I'm literally removing my real job from the situation and just work. So I'm already working with him. And so it's like, yes, I know working with him is not, and I hit the mic. I know working with my husband isn't the best, okay? And it's got days where it's like, I swear I'm going to murder you, and this is premeditated, and it's on recording, and it's fine. But
I didn't wear my helmet tonight.
Or a cup. But... But I have a hard time with him on a daily basis. That's it. Like, my parents know that. I have a hard time with him. But at any point, I could walk away. At any point, I could just pack up my stuff and say, c'est la vie. Deal with it. You live with my parents. I'm out. I'm going to Costa Rica. Or
I was thinking more along the lines of getting another job, but wow, okay. You're taking it real personal. I quit. I'm out. But we're still married. No. She's like, I'm Costa Rica bound, baby. Fuck you.
Everything.
Yeah.
It's all gone. It's gone.
That's how it is.
It's gone. That's it. There's no between. It's you're with me or you're against me.
Good luck with my parents. I'm out. Come on, man.
Now you know. You guys, okay, how it started, right? It starts with chaos and double guessing and overthinking and
anxiety and
That's negativity
natural,
and thinking that you're not good enough. Ugh, gosh. I hear it. I hear it in your head, like, because it's always in my head. And I can't tell you the be all to it all of answers.
No.
But I can tell you that you overthinking it, okay, that's you being rational and that's you thinking, okay, and you're not one of those people that jump into it. But
I've got a gauge. But keep going.
Go, you got a gauge.
I've got a gauge on this. All right, okay. If you're thinking about doing it and you're too daunted by actually completing a full business plan, look it up. Look up all the steps. Look up all the things. SBA website, Small Business Administration.
Yeah, they do have.
They have outlines. They have templates. They have all the questions that you need to answer before you go starting a business. Mm-hmm. If you are too daunted and that is too big of a deal and you cannot finish that, you cannot make a absolute business plan according to their specifications and guidelines, don't do it. Because there's certain things that you need to know before you jump off that bridge. There's certain things that you have to be accounted for before you jump off that bridge. And bottom line, if you aren't dedicated enough to what you want, if you aren't passionate enough to what you want, if you don't see the path and the goal to get there hard enough to where you can't be bothered to do that,
just that,
and show other people that hey, here's how I really have thought about this. It's not
I'm
just
awesome, and here's why.
Right, it's not just a drunken Friday night where we came up with a great idea. Because while that is kind of how it sounded and how it happened, there really is some skin in the game, some bottom line, some thought process, some actual business acumen there that people need to invest in, because we're not just talking about bankers and folks that can lend you money. No. We're talking about customers that are going to buy into you and your abilities
have to be able to
fulfill their needs.
Not just sell it to a bank, but sell it to anybody that's worthwhile. For you to be able to have a business model that's worth selling, you have to be invested in it. If you're not invested in it enough to answer those questions from the SBA, and they're hard questions, but it's not.
You're going to have to do some work. I mean,
they're not hard enough to where.
And you're not going to get paid for it. Nobody's going to pay you to do your business plan. You know. The gamble there is, and that's the gamble of any business, is you've got to put in a whole lot of work.
It really is.
Before you even have a chance of it paying off.
Yeah.
And that's where you've got to believe in yourself and believe in your product. And
but you could take that aspect and you can apply it into, you have to believe in yourself and believe in what you have to offer into this world. In any aspect, and that whether that's in a relationship, whether that's in a business, whether that's in another you're an employee setting, whether that's being in this podcast, whether that's anything, like, you have to be cognizant of what you have and what you have to offer, and have that. You have to be confident in that, and I think that the whole thing that people don't have. And
I struggle with
we
confidence
both,
for sure. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, we both struggle with that as far as confidence. With hence why it took us a while to start this podcast. Hence why it took us to start to a business. Well, it took us to get away from the things that we know wasn't what we wanted to do. We were doing it because it was a paycheck. It was. Yeah. There's this long line of societal norms that it took us a long time to get away from, and that's a whole nother podcast. But I feel that if you don't have the confidence in you and what you can offer in general, that whether that be in a relationship or in society or in a business aspect, you need to really realize that. You have to be confident in that. So it's like, take a break from that relationship, come back to you. Take a break. Well, you can't sometimes you can't really take a break from that, like, that paycheck and come back to you. But, you need to take that minute, take that weekend, take those 2 days, get a sitter for the kids, and zen out and figure out what's out for you. And I know sometimes that's a hard time, but, like, figure out how to take some hours and figure out what you really want. What do you want? Mm-hmm. And we're still figuring it out. Yeah. He's 40, almost 36, and, like, that's hard. Yeah, I called you out on how old you are. Like, but that's hard.
It really is.
What? Like, to figure out what you really want and put it into words, and why? What are you doing? What's going on? Ask the real hard questions. And it all comes back to finding the good. I think if you can find what's good and what makes you happy, oh my gosh. Mm-hmm. Are we there yet? Nah. Nah, sis. Nah, bro in the back, the one guy in the back. But we're figuring it out. We're making it happen. We're living. We're here. We're in front of this microphone. Yeah. Talking to you guys.
We'll be back. I don't think she's fired me yet.
No. I kidnap people each week. I swear to God, I'm going to get my mom on this one time. It'll be great.
Well, I will listen to that one. I will. I promise.
Thanks, guys, for tuning in. And, it's not about the how it started. It's the why. Figure out your why. Hone in. Figure it out. I'd love to hear about it. Check in on chaoticcompass.com and share your why.
And we'll be glad to answer any specific questions you might have. If we don't know, we'll make something up.
No. What?
It's an opinion.
Okay, make something up in an opinion,
Right, yeah.
Okay.
We'll tell you if it's facts and cite the sources.
Unicorns and rainbows do exist from the same butthole. That's fine. Like
mine specifically.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
He sprinkles awesome rainbow bullshit all the time. Love you guys. Have a great night. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I appreciate all of your love and support. If you really loved today's episode, you should subscribe. And if you subscribe, then you get notifications of when my next episode launches. So another way to be super awesome would be to leave a rating and review or recommend it to your friends and family. If you're wicked awesome, you've already done all three. Another way to keep up with me and my crazy family is check out my website at chaoticcompass.com, and I do blog and other stuff there. So I appreciate everything for you guys. I do this for you, so keep it up, because the more you subscribe, the more I do.